Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast. We are going to start with another interview in our Uncover interview series. Uncover stands for Understanding the Needs, Opportunities, Challenges, Vision, and Emerging Roles in the Black Horse Community. Today, we're going to speak with Marlin Sims. He's a 65-year-old mounted archery competitor. He is part of the U.S. Cultural Heritage Team and travels internationally to compete in mounted archery competitions. We hope you guys enjoy this episode. You are listening to Young Black Equestrians, the podcast, with your hosts, Abriana Johnson and Caitlin Gooch.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got started with mounted archery?
Well, I'm originally from Tuskegee, Alabama, where I was born and raised, and I'm a martial art instructor by trade. I got appointed to West Point probably like the early 90s, like 90, 89 and 90. And I taught there for like 10 years. I came to Atlanta around 2000 after I left West Point Military Academy. And then once I got here, I got interested in the horses. And a few years ago, I took a course on mounted archery out at Falconwood Farms and fell in love with it and been doing it ever since.
So how did you get introduced to the U.S. Cultural Heritage Team?
I went to Korea to compete. One of the competitions I was invited by Trey Slickton. And we went over. And one of the things they were doing was trying to, around the country, the world rather, get people to participate in a cultural heritage thing, something that was peculiar to their particular culture in their particular country. Like here, it would be the American Indian, so we kind of compete, along those lines. Other countries will, you want to use bows and dress that were, that was representative of that particular culture. So we try to use dress that is representative of Indian culture or the mountain man culture in this country.
The heritage team, so it means doing events and kind of like portraying yourselves like the original people?
Yeah, mounted archery is like archery from a horseback. And the American Indian, they mostly shot bows from horseback, hunted buffaloes, they did war from horseback.
Right.
So it's a combination of horsemen and your archery skills. What you do on the ground, like ground archery, is different than what you do on a horse. What
Right.
you do on the back of a horse, you can do on the ground. So, as you're riding, there is you have to supposed to take what is called a performance piece, which is like 2-point seat, where you don't want to bounce up and down. Then you're aiming how you acquire the target, because the horse is moving at about maybe 11 meters per second, which is pretty fast. It's coming on the ground. So when you aim, every second that you aim, the target is always changing.
Right.
So you have to either at the edge, or how do you line your arm up? A lot of people shoot lighter bows because it's easier to draw. Myself, I like to think of myself as a traditional warrior because I was trained as a martial artist. So I like to shoot heavy bows. My heaviest bow has been like 90 pounds, but then inverted on me. So I shoot between 60 to 90-pound bows.
Wow.
So I need a different.
That's pretty interesting.
So well, in the old days when people had armor and stuff, you had to have a bow that could pierce armor.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them would say that a minimum of 70 pounds to pierce armor. So I try to shoot. My heaviest bow right now, I can say my 90-pound bow inverted was a Korean bow. So my heaviest bow now is probably about 84 pounds.
So when you talk about pounds for the bow, is that the part that has the wood and the string? I'm going to say string because I don't know what it's called, but that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, when we say pound, it's like, say if you shoot a compound bow, it may be 60 or 80-pound bow, but you only have to pull about maybe 15, 20 pounds and let off. But when you release it, it shoots the full, 70, 80 pounds. but with
Right, right,
a
right. So that's
recurve bow is traditional.
okay. So
You
that's
have to,
the tension on the bow is the poundage, like pounds of pressure.
yeah. What you have to hold, it's like picking up a 6 weight and holding it in that position until you
Mm-hmm.
release it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you're talking about bone alignment in the arms. You have to have some crotch or a twist on it. You can twist the string. Most people have a draw length of maybe like 28 inches. You need an anchor point. How you acquire your target, looking down the shaft of the arrow. That's a lot of factors that go in to shooting, off horseback, because you have to shoot when the horse is in a gallop, and you kind of like the horse is skipping with you, so you have to skip with the horse,
Right.
and you don't want to be sitting on the horse, but you want to be somewhat inch or two above the horse, so you can have a smooth ride, and your legs act as a shock absorber.
Right.
Especially the ankle.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can have a full ride and your shot can be more accurate.
Awesome. So what are the challenges, or if any, that you have experienced being a minority equestrian in this sport?
Some challenges?
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't experience any challenges except being the only black guy out there.
Yeah.
Other than that, they're very friendly around the world. I haven't really met with any type of racism, because there are people of color that compete in the mounted archery. I have not met any other black mounted archers. I'm pretty sure there got to be some out there, but I haven't met them. And I've never met any that have competed internationally.
Right.
But it's basically like a really friendly and congenial group of archers. Everybody is has their own personality, things they like, they dislike. You really have to. To me, I train a lot, so what I try to do is prepare my body to be a weapon, to be able to pull heavy poundage and condition my hands and my entire body to be able to just pull a string bare, without any aids, anything.
Right.
Occasionally I do with gloves and stuff, because I'll shoot somewhere close to 100, maybe 200 arrows a day sometimes.
Wow.
To build a callus.
That is
To
dedication.
condition the tendons.
I was just gonna say, or ask, how long did you train before you actually started to compete?
Well, I've shot archery as from a childhood up until now.
Oh, okay.
It's just because I was in a boy school, and so it's just something that I've always done. So, and then when I was at some martial arts, we shot archery, we did a lot of flight archery. So it was natural for me just to pick it up. It's something that you have to learn how to shoot from horseback. Like I said, what you do on the back of a horse, you can do on the ground. But what you do on the ground, you can't necessarily do on the back of a horse.
Right.
So there is like a little learn and how to acquire the target, because based on the ground, your target is standing still.
Mm-hmm.
It's not moving. But when you're on the back of a horse is moving, so your perspective of the target is always changing. So how you acquire and shoot that target. So a lot of it is instinctive.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So like archery is a part of the martial art, because every country had a mounted cavalry, and that's what made the Genghis Khan and the Mongolians famous. They were able to ride in, shoot, break, and then run away. And as the soldiers rode, try to chase them, they could put 6 arrows up in there inside of a minute. So the soldiers that was chasing was riding under a bunch of arrows coming down, just cutting smithereens.
Mm-hmm.
So you develop different patterns and how to control your horse running and shoot. Run away. You have back shots. You have side shots. So it's like different positions you can shoot off your horse. But how do you control that horse? In a battle situation, there's a lot of noise. The horse is at proper full gallop. But in competition, your horse is not always going that fast. And then it's a control situation. And then, like we do a lot of field archery where, there are no barriers or lanes for the horse to run in. You have to navigate around different obstacles and stuff to shoot the targets because it's at an open field. So you got to get your horse to go to that particular target or that particular area. Then you may have to circle it or go through a gate or something like that. So it requires, horsemanship skills along with your marksmanship skills.
Right. What kind of horses do you typically use or do you own when you do mounted archery?
I have 4-quarter horses. I'm looking to get some larger horses like Percherons or drum horses, which is like of the draft breed.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I got quarter horses. I have 4.
Do you use those horses when you travel?
Well, when we travel, like we go to Korea somewhere to compete or Mongolia, you have to you borrow horses once you get there.
Okay.
So, you just have to take a horse, jump on. Now, if we're here competing in Georgia or like maybe Tennessee, I can trail my horse up or take my horse with me. I prefer competing on my horse, but you should be able to ride any mount.
Very true. Very true. Have you ever encountered a mount that was not as comfortable with the whole shooting arrows off its back situation?
No, because most of the time you want to train a horse to do what you want to do to accept shooting arrow. Either he's going to accept it or they're not going to accept it. And one of the quickest ways to like pap on his dog, every time he rang the bell, he fed the dog. So after he took the food away, when he rang the bell, started to salivate. So when we shoot arrow, if you give a horse a treat, pretty soon he'll associate that sound with a reward.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll stop being afraid. Different ways you can train horses to accept, things around. Same thing with mounted shooting. When you shoot guns off horses' back, either they're going to accept it or they're not going to accept it.
Right.
Especially with guns on in between. But every time he heard that sound, you gave him a reward like a treat. Then pretty soon he will associate that sound with something good instead of something to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
So based on archery, you have to like become one with your horse. So you need to train your horse to do what you want it to do. You got to rate himself. Walk, trot, canter, gallop. Left turn, right turn. I tell everybody, riding is pretty easy. If you can drive a car, then basically you can drive a horse. Just have to learn how to signal a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Make it go forward, back it up, left, right, and walk, plus the brakes. And then you have variations of those. So your aids are like your rein, your leg aids, how you twist your head or your body.
Very true.
So when you shoot archery from a mounted horse, you have to drop your reins. You can't really guide your horse. So you got to drop your reins and shoot. So you need to be, your horse should be, you should be able to guide your leg. Ideally.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if you work off primarily leg aids when riding.
Well, my horses were not trained for that, so I'm just now getting into the thing of training my horses to move off my body, my legs. I did a lot of neck rein. I ran barrels and jumped and did some other stuff. But now getting into mounted archery and the mounted shooting, you have to, you need to train your horse to do certain things, to move off certain cues and stuff. Slow itself down, speed itself up. My horses are very athletic. And the horse that I'm on Wildfire, my main horse that I ride a lot, she's like 16 and 4 hands or something. Somewhere around close to that. So she's a tall horse.
Mm-hmm.
So, most people have smaller horses. But I like big horses.
What is one of the things that you've learned about yourself doing the mounted archery?
never give up. But like I say, I started as a doing martial art when I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now 64, turned 65 in summer. So, I mean, that's just something that you're only as rich as the amount of things that you can afford to leave alone. And so I set myself up years ago stuff. I know as I got older, I was going to do some of this kind of stuff because when I was young, I was trying to take care of family.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have the luxury of staying on the ranch, training all day. So basically, I train all day, and I train my body to be able to pull heavy bowls, my hands be able to handle the stress of a 60 to a 90-pound string just on my bare fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of prep work go into things, and so a lot of people will give you excuses of why they didn't do this, they didn't do that. So my thing is, to solve a problem, you don't leave with an excuse, you leave with a solution. So as a mountain archer, I've had to figure this out, because it's something that I didn't grow up doing. And I taught myself to ride. I didn't have formal riding training. So I've had to learn as I go.
Right.
And talking to different people, sharing things with me, things that I read. I do a lot of research, on the mountain archery and stuff. I go anywhere in the world to learn. And you learn from the cradle to the grave. And so the things I've learned about mountain archery and stuff, and I'm still learning. But you have to make yourself available to that and be willing to learn.
What advice would you give to someone interested in entering this field in this sport?
Well, my first advice, you need your own horse. And, a lot of people want to buy, inexpensive equipment at first. But you are only as good as your equipment. So I tend to spend my money on my equipment and my horse because those are two most important factors besides yourself. So you got to trust your horse and you need good equipment. So I like heavier bows because they have a better trajectory, as opposed to a lighter bow. And, they shoot faster. We have a bow we call a Sky Dog that was designed for the cultural heritage team. It looks like one of the Indian bows, and it's a very fast shooting bow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was developed by, my teacher Trey, and he's in the process of developing other bows and stuff. And I really like it's very, fast shooting bow. There's no hand shock or vibration in it, so it's a joy to shoot. So if you have good equipment, but then having good equipment and not using it correctly, if the alignment is not right, the arm is not right, then it didn't really work that well. Practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So everybody say just practice, practice, practice. But in order to shoot a heavy bow, you need to train your body to shoot it. And how you line it up, how you sight it, and the human body can only make two movements, push and pull. And sometimes we say it can rotate, but a rotation is only push pull on a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
So, you one arm is pushing, one arm is pulling. So how you set those muscles up, but they have to be strong and fit enough to handle the stress of shooting a traditional recurve bow. Because like I say, when you pull a 70, 80-pound bow, you are actually pulling and holding that amount of weight. And so, if you hold it for a few seconds or a minute, that's what you got to hold 70 pounds for a minute.
Right.
So it keeps tension on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a balance between actual, just strength and coordination and balance. And a lot of different things go into not only just holding the bow, but having to ride at the same time and see. You got to be able to see, I'm assuming, see very well how to assess your targets.
Yeah, riding could be second nature to you. You know, if you have to concentrate on your riding, then you're not going to do too well in acquiring and hitting the target.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you have to develop the horsemanship skills. And then you have to develop the archery skills, how to aim stuff from the ground. Then when you're on the back of the horse, you got to put all that together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a challenge, but, you know, you got to rise to the occasion.
Yeah. What has been your favorite moment in your career in doing this mounted archery? What is your favorite moment that you've had so far?
Oh, I can't say I had a favorite moment because I like it all. You know, I've enjoyed every second that I've rode and shoot. You know, and I kind of live in the present at all times. I don't think about the future or the past. You know, once it's over to me. But I'm always training in that moment, trying to prepare for the next one because I want to be a little bit better tomorrow than I was today.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to skills. And so I can't say that, you know, any one particular moment that stands out to me. I enjoy just riding and shooting the sport of it. I don't go there to win or to lose. I come to ride and shoot.
Yeah.
So while everybody else is maybe, you know, up on the ride, you know, want to win, that's not my objective. My objective is to do my best at my ability and to improve. What can I learn from my experience? Because, like, you know, a failure is not really a failure. It's a way that you learn not to do something or to improve on something. If this didn't work, then what can I do to improve this the next time?
Mm-hmm.
So I've only been riding and shooting probably about 3 or 4 years. So I'm new at it. So I need to, I'm still learning and trying to perfect my skills. You know, when I did martial arts, you know, I said I was going to I started when I was like 4 years old. I said after 20 years, I feel like I've accomplished something. But after 20 years, I realized I really don't know anything. I need to continue. I need to do more training.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, I started when I was 4. I'm like 64 now, I'm being only 65. So I have basically 60 years of training in.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing really excites me like that, or because that's really what makes us lose or do the wrong thing because we're too excited. You know, you have, you know, with archery and stuff or any sport, you have to keep yourself calm.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get too excited and too anxious, then you end up making mistakes. We tell our horse to do something unknowing to us, and the horse may make a sudden movement or is indecisive, goes left or right. So it may throw us off or we may miss the shot. So I spend a lot of time trying to train my horses to get them to do what I want them to do and that we know each other, know how the others are going to think.
I know you said that, you know, you stay in the present, past and the future are, you know, subjective, but do you have any personal goals for yourself as far as getting better in this field?
I can't say that I have personal goals like that. I feel if you train and practice correctly, you will improve,
Mm-hmm.
and it will get better over time. But if there's an effort on your part to accomplish that, then you probably won't accomplish it.
Yeah.
Because you put pressure on yourself. You know, you're always going to find those people better than you. You're going to find those people worse than you. And if you compare yourself to them, you're going to end up with a problem. Mm-hmm. You're upset all the time about something. Or I'm better than this person, not as good as that person. So I can't have to look at it like that. You know, just the joy of waking up in the morning and being able to train or to go someplace to compete is to me, it's an accomplishment. Mm-hmm. And I try to live in that moment.
I agree with that.
And I remember my first barrel competition. I took 3 horses to ride, and a lot of people got upset at me because they thought I was riding for the money. And I did pretty good. I didn't want the money. I said, I didn't come here to win or to lose. I came to ride.
Mm-hmm.
I said, whatever I want, give it to the kids. So I'm not interested in that, in winning it per se like that. As long as I compete at my personal best, it's great. If I win, great. If I lose, great. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of stressful situation to win, because people start, if they're not winning, they're upset. They want to fight somebody because they didn't win or they lost. That doesn't bother me.
Instead of making a lesson out of it, there's emotion in it.
Yeah, because what really counts, if it's a life or death, the trophy or the title is not that important. I had my instructor tell me one time it's wrong to fight, but to fight and lose for principles that you deem righteous is also wrong. So I train every day to prepare my body for that one time that I have to fight. So when I go to competition, I'm there for a learning experience. I'm not there to win or lose. I'm there to learn. I watch the competitors there. If I win, great. If I lose, great. It's no skin off my nose. I'm not gonna get excited about it either way.
Could you describe what a typical competition is like?
Well, typical competition is, you may shoot Hungarian course, you may shoot the Korean course or Kabak. The Korean course is like you have a lane, rope on both sides of the horse. So he run down this lane. It's probably about 100 meters, which is about 300 feet. And target is probably 90 meters apart. And you have to ride, and a horse is a couple of 11 seconds. You only got a couple of seconds to draw your arrow, load on your bowstring, acquire the target, shoot it, and get ready to do the same thing to get ready for the second and third target. So you have to take a position, a comfortable position where you're not bouncing around, because and you have to be able to knock your arrow out looking at the string. If you look down, then the horse may do something else. You may tell your horse to do something unbeknown to you. So you keep your eyes on the target. So you have to, draw. And because we shoot like the American Indian, we generally have a quiver, which is like the Indian quiver, from back or on our side. I shoot a side quiver. A lot of people shoot like a side quiver. But you only have a few seconds, like 3 or 4 seconds to shoot your target. Because most times a fast horse will cover 90 meters in about 8 seconds, 9 seconds. An average horse probably you got horses covering like 10, 12 seconds. That's a medium horse, but your fast horse is gonna cover it probably like about 8, 9 seconds. 9 being the average. So you want a horse that's gonna do it like 9 or 10.
That's cool. How many people are on your team?
It varies. I think right now there's like 6, maybe 7 people on the team. And it's just something. I think this is the second or third year, and it's starting to grow. So when we first started, there was not that many archers in the country. But now there's a ton of archers, a ton of competitions around the country.
Do you guys practice together or live in the same vicinity?
Well, yeah, you have them up in Michigan. Like we have a group here in Atlanta, which is called Chattahoochee Archery Association, Mountain Archery Association. And you have them up in Tennessee, you got them in Florida, in Alabama. You have them all over the place. And so yeah, we get together and we train and practice together. And it brings up a lot of good camaraderie with friends. You meet new people, meet old acquaintances. You talk to different people about different techniques. And there right now is relatively people are developing different equipment, knocks and arrows and bows and stuff. Because you're always trying to get the most out of your equipment. Shooting faster, flatter trajectory, knock that's easier to knock, so because you can't look at the knock in the string. You have to go by feel. So one of the most important things to me is how do you index or feel the knock to know how to put it on the string.
Mm-hmm. And is that the end of
So
the
then
arrow?
you can shoot eight. Yeah, the back end of the arrow has like a little knock on it that you put the arrow on the string. You can either shoot off the left side or the right side of the bow. I shoot a thumb style, and I shoot thumb and three fingers. But a lot of people like to shoot three fingers, Mediterranean. But I prefer the thumb style.
And what does that actually look like? When you say thumb style, like you pull the bow back with your thumb, or pull the string
with
back?
Your thumb. Your index. Your arrow is on the right side of the bow. So once you knock it, your thumb goes under the knock of the bow and push up, and your index finger pushes the arrow to your left, which hits the right side of the bow. That way, when you're riding, the air and the wind doesn't vibrate and make it, come off the bow.
Oh, okay. Are you right-handed?
So I'm right-handed. Yes.
Oh, okay. Do people, when you are doing or shooting, do you usually shoot with whatever your dominant hand is?
Yeah, I can shoot either hand, but my right eye is dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be more accurate, out of my right hand, looking down my left arm.
Interesting.
So your eye is gonna play more important part because it's how you aim, and it's just like pointing your finger at something. Once the wrist bones and the arm bones are in alignment, then it's a pretty good shot. But some people shoot a floating anchor, some shoot a set anchor. Most people put their hand up under the chin, the jawbone. A lot of people touch the string to their nose. So everybody have a different way of anchoring. After you have developed a basic anchoring technique, then you probably can start shooting a floating anchor. But you need to understand the anchor point first. Like a lot of people anchor up under the jaw. That way they have like a 28-inch draw. And so once you get good at that, you understand how to line the joints up, then you probably can shoot a floating anchor.
Do you have anyone that's around your age participating in these competitions as well that you know of?
Not too many. I'm like one of the older ones.
Well, I wouldn't have guessed
right.
that at all. Your age, that is.
Well, yeah. Well, the most important thing about age is movement. As long as you stay active and moving and put the right fuel in the body wants to take care of itself.
Yeah.
It will adapt. And yeah. Like the more you drive your car or use a machine, the more ragged it gets. The body's the complete opposite. The more you use your body, the better it gets. The less you use it, the worse your body becomes. Mm-hmm. If you have a sedentary lifestyle, you pick up weight, get medical issues and stuff. But as long as you're out and you're active and you're moving, then your body will stay good. You have longevity with it.
That is the truth. All right. Well, we appreciate you talking to us so late. But yeah, we're planning to get this episode of the podcast up tomorrow. Have you listened to any of the other ones?
Okay. No, I have not.
Well, you should definitely check them out. They're pretty cool.
How do we check you out?
We can send you a link to our SoundCloud page, and you'll be able to listen to them there.
Most definitely will check it out.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And if you ever need anything from us, you just let us know.
All right.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, the podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and review on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. See you next time.